Hello, I'm going to be presenting our COGS 108 final project. So our project was about professor salary and trying to find a possible correlation between that and student evaluations from CAPES. Our research question was, is there a statistically significant relationship between professor salary and different dimensions of CAPES, such as percentage of students who recommend the class or professor, average grade expected and received, and student ranking of how much they learned throughout the course? So the UC system is well funded, and we found that the UCSD average salary for professors was a bit over 171,000. So we wanted to find out whether there's a correlation between a high salary and positive evaluations on CAPES. Our hypothesis is that there will be a negative relationship between higher salary and positive CAPES evaluations. That's because most professors are awarded higher salaries because of their research and how long they've been at the university. But research professors aren't as involved with undergraduate education. So we thought that it would negatively impact, or we thought it would negatively impact that. Now, our data sets were CAPES evaluations and Transparent California. CAPES evaluations, obviously, for evaluations of professors, and Transparent California for salaries. Now, how we set this up was we used several libraries that we thought would be important to our project, such as Pandas, NumPy, requests for HTTP requests, Beautiful Soup for parsing those requests, Matplotlib, and SNS for data visualization. Then the next thing we did was move on to data cleaning. So we got our data into a CSV file, as you can see here, and we put it in a data frame. But this was very raw data from CAPES. We still needed to clean it quite a bit, and you can see that this whole section was just cleaning through this CAPES data. Replacing different sections of it. You can see these are all HTML tags, replacing different sections with it with just empty strings, just cleaning that out. You can see how large this chunk of code is. That's because there's very specific instances where different columns need different types of cleaning. So that sort of thing really impacted how long it took, but we got it done in the end. Now, this section is what can be seen here. Now, like I said, different columns needed very specific types of cleaning. And as a result, every row wasn't satisfied because different columns required different cleaning. So you can see here, some of the cleaning failed. And it wasn't significant enough to affect our results, but it was significant enough where we didn't want it to break our code. So you can see this kind of measure so that our code didn't break. Now, next, we had to combine our data frames. So that's what we did here. And we just kind of put everything in one. You can see that, the average grade point expected, average letter grade, all of this stuff is now being put into one data frame that we can use. So once we got everything down to one place, we really analyzed everything. And that started with looking at the different columns and seeing where we could get the data that we wanted. And we ran through that, looked at different keys. Now, the keys were helpful because they're unique IDs for each professor. Say one professor teaches in 2 terms, it really helps unify that and helps put that data into perspective. Now, with our results, we plotted 2 graphs. And what we found was that there's no distinct correlation between higher salary and the weight of the students that recommend the instructor. So we can't prove or disprove our hypothesis based on the data we have and the results we got from that data. And you can see that graph right here. You can see that there's no correlation. It just seems very randomly scattered. Now, this second graph was a bit exploratory. We just wanted to see that if there was a reason for the lack of correlation. So that's what this graph is. And yeah, so the ethics and privacy, there are some potential concerns in that, CAPES data was accessed and professor salary was accessed, but everyone can access this information. So we didn't think it was too much of a concern. Uh, but our analysis showed that there wasn't a clear CAPES and professor salary relationship. So that was our findings, and thank you.